it was hard. Like tell the kids every day, we have to be able to handle hard better. Like yesterday was hard. We know, but you have to be able to handle this hard. And we're going to do it together. You're going to have to figure it out on your own. And at the same token, you're going to have to understand that I'm here for you no matter what. I'm here for you no matter what. But in this same sense, we absolutely have to be able to handle the hard, because that's going to take you over the very bare minimum.
Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
Today we're joined by the head boys basketball coach at South Oak Cliff High School, Antoine Thompson. Coach Thompson played 4 years of college basketball at Austin College. He's been coaching for 12 years, 3 as a head coach. His career record at Stony Point High School was 103-8. Coach Thompson led Stony Point to 3 consecutive district championships, 55 consecutive district wins, and a school record for team wins at 38-2 in 2023-24. They reached the state championship for the first time in school history that year. Coach Thompson was named District 25-6A Coach of the Year 3 times. In the last 3 years, the Tigers have had a 100% graduation rate and 8 scholarship players from the NAIA to Division I levels. Before we hear from Coach, take a moment to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media at JAMODI Podcast.
Coaches, the JAMODI Podcast is powered by Scoreboard Media. Scoreboard Media works with high schools across the country to run professional sponsorship programs on their LED scoreboards. Whether you already have LED and you just want to supercharge the revenue, or you want to use sponsorship revenue to buy new LED video scoreboards, Scoreboard Media can help. They work with sponsors and advertisers locally, regionally, and nationally who want to connect with your school's community. Email info@scoreboardmedia.com to start the conversation and see what's possible. Well, Coach, I want to thank you so much for giving up your time, making the time to come on and talk some hoops with me. You and I don't have much or any relationship at all, but I've been obviously learned more about you from afar after your incredible season, and then gearing up for this talk, got to watch some pretty cool videos that have been put out. So a documentary about your season, got to learn a lot about you, I feel like, through that. But just this is something I've been looking forward to. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. This is major. You know, anytime we can get to discuss basketball with heavy basketball experienced individuals, like I can do that all day. Like if I can talk anything, it's basketball, God, and some shoes. So let's do this. Let's have some fun.
I love that. Basketball, God, shoes. That's like that's a podcast right there. I think a lot of times after the season that you've had, people just want to know all about the basketball, maybe that X's and O's that you did run. And I'm interested in that for sure. But I think even more is throughout a run like that, you got to look at the person and who's leading the team. And a lot of times I think that has a lot to do with your habits. So what habits set you up for success every day?
I think just being committed. You know, the one thing that I've always led my life with is just loyalty and commitment. And, you know, when I took over the job at Stony 3 years ago, it was just a different feeling. And I wanted to be committed to building a program, regardless if I'm here or not. The substantial work ethic that we are implementing, that's just the commitment that's going to be across the board. And I think we've been able to manifest that across the campus just with the tendency, the habits. We talk about it every day. You can't have championship mindsets with weak habits. You know, our habits are everything. If you're not plus 400 with extra shots every day, your habits don't equate to you wanting to be a shooter. If you are an outstanding student in the classroom, your habits aren't going to equate to being that citizen that we project to be in the community, you know. So our habits are everything, which, you know, aligns to our culture mindsets. You know, when we speak culture, we speak to the identity that people will be able to extract on a day-to-day basis when they see you. That's culture for us. You know, having the habits of a winner is hard. Having the habits of individuals that do the extraordinary, even when it's an ordinary day, that's hard. But you get the results of what we've been able to manifest the last 2 years. So habits are a lot for us.
What systems have you put in place within maybe your workouts, your practice, your locker room to create that type of environment? Because you're right. Like that's really hard. People think I want to win, but it's like what Bobby Knight said. It's the willingness to prepare to win. Yes. That's important. It's not just wanting to do it. Because I would think every coach, every team wants to do that, especially before the season starts.
Right.
We're all undefeated and we're all going to win state. But what systems did you put in place?
Well, I think the first system that we put into place was just the time management and organizational piece to everything. Everything is aligned on structure. And that goes back to our preparation, and it goes back to the leadership that coaches have that we try to manifest into our captains per se. But the time management and organization is so effective for teenagers, especially when they can have a direct system that they know at 7:45, from 7:45 to 8 o'clock, it's mandatory that everyone should be using the elastic bands to be stretching. From 8 o'clock to 8:45, everyone knows that there's strength and conditioning happening at that time. From 9 o'clock to 10:30, before we get out of the athletic period, it's time to compete. And if you don't have that competitive mindset, it's not a cultivating piece that you're going to win the day in our systems. So, it's very driven every day. It's very structured every day. Now, everything day to day will change, but those time slots, that organization for the kids, they know, okay, I missed this. I know I got to make up this. I'm here at this moment at 9:10. We are doing some type of implementation of the basketball piece of what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So, the time, and those are just life skills. Time management for me going to college was something that, I didn't have that. Like, that wasn't anything that I was even remotely trying to identify with. But when Coach said you had a 6 a.m. workout, and then you had breakfast at 7:10, and then you had class at 8:45, and then you had individuals after that. These are the things that we're trying to alleviate with these young scholar athletes who are saying that they want to go play at the collegiate level, just embedding it in their day-to-day lives right now as a scholar athlete in high school, because we all know everyone's not going to go play college basketball. But if we can start with that system alone, you become a better adult going into society.
You're right on the money. Not everybody may play college basketball, which that for those that do want to, I think they're always shocked by what the schedule actually looks like.
Oh, it's real.
It's a long schedule and you've got a lot of responsibilities and it really doesn't stop.
Right.
But they're all going to be, like you said, adults that have a job. And I don't know about you, majority of jobs I've had, there's been a start time. There's been a dress code.
Yep.
There's been expectations that I have to hit. There's consequences when I don't. And then there's an end time. And within that, I have to make sure my nutrition is right, which I fail all the time. And so I think you're right on the money. The structure that we create, it is for this moment. It is for this season, but it's also preparing them to be productive citizens. You're right on the money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was thinking of a Draymond Green quote that he said, "You don't mistakenly become great." And I think coaches and programs that have aspirations to do what you've done, 38-2, make it to the final game, like that's something we all say we want, but are we actually motivated, organized enough to create that type of structure that you do? And I was thinking back to even my own life and growing up as a player. One thing I was blessed with was a mom that had military background, because she created a routine in me that allowed me to get repetition. Routine allows you to get repetition. But I think I've been probably guilty of it. A lot of coaches, a lot of programs are, just hoping that some way they find a way to be great.
Yeah, no, and that's the crazy thing. It's like one of the parents, one of my freshman parents asked me at our back to school night, we heard you run the militant program. I'm like, it's not militant. We're just disciplined. We're just going to do the things that people say they want to do, but we actually get it done. And when we can create the mindset to deliver, when we can have those triggers to deliver, that every day has to be more, or every day has to be something driven to be successful. I think that's what you look at with the 38-2. It was hard. Like, tell the kids every day, we have to be able to handle hard better. Like, yesterday was hard, we know, but you have to be able to handle this hard, and we're going to do it together. You're going to have to figure it out on your own, and at the same token, you're going to have to understand that I'm here for you no matter what. I'm here for you no matter what. But in this same sense, we absolutely have to be able to handle the hard, because that's going to take you over the very bare minimum.
I love that, handle the hard. I think you want players to also understand you get to choose your hard.
Yeah.
Choose your hard, because losing's hard.
Yeah.
Those bus rides are hard. Saturday morning practice after a district loss against your rival's hard. And sometimes you can do everything right and it still happens.
Yeah.
If you're playing somebody with superior talent and it's just their night, or if things line up. I've been a part of those games where I felt like, golly, we played really well. We just came up short. But you tip your hat and you continue to go. But you have to choose your hard, because the hard that you guys, I feel like, have chosen is better and leads to things that they like and want more than the other hard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's kind of weird now, because like, you reach this pedestal. So that first year, you get to the regional semifinal game, 34-2. Last year, you reach the last game of the season, of the entire season of last year, and then it's like, where now you have to find a way to top that. You have to find a way to you've gotten to a pinnacle, but I'm not content. So if I'm not content, you can't be content, and if you don't become content, then you're telling someone else that they can't become content. And those are the mindsets and the works of the way that we tell the boys to go about their day. The more you become content, the easier your opponents are able to get to you. So continue to do that if you want. But I know I'm stepping in here prepared every day, ready to win, ready to be more for you. So fight with me. Be here with me.
You said something earlier about the culture of your program affecting the whole school.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting idea. I love the culture that we have at Faith. I think we fight for it really hard each day, but I don't know how much it bleeds out and affects the whole student community. I know at Baylor, the culture of joy that men's basketball has and the culture that the athletic director there has created, all of those sports and coaches support each other. It's like one thing, but I would like to be better at that. What are some ways that you felt like your culture did affect the entire school?
Well, I think the one thing that you said a while ago, we go support everyone, showing the student body that if these young men who you all are seeing via social media and all of the things that they are receiving post-secondary opportunities, if they are present and they are loud, prideful, and unique to the team component, we want all of you all to be here. And then another thing is just the leadership capacity, right? We want these young men to be leaders in the classroom. We want them to be leaders on the floor. We want them to be leaders at our feeder elementaries that we go to. So every Friday we go to our feeder elementaries. We go to our middle schools every Wednesday. So the leadership that they're able to manifest amongst the community, I think those are things that make them unique when you talk about the you in culture. But then the thing that I most pride myself with when we talk about culture is just positive energy. When we put out positive energy to other individuals, I told the boys today, the campus has been a little, they're settling in and there are many things that are happening. I'm like, just share some love. share some love, share some positive energy to other individuals on the campus. And I asked the boys at the end of the, I'm going to ask them at the end of the day, how many people did you tell them that you love? How many people did you tell that you cared about them today? Those are the things that identify culture for us. It's not even basketball. It's not the basketball piece. It's all of those things. The unity, it's the commitment, it's the uniqueness, it's the teamwork, and then ultimately it's the energy that we put out to other people that we want to receive back in a positive way. And I think it's just that has trickled throughout the campus. And when, you see Stony Point basketball now, there's a sense of pride. There's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of togetherness and winning. And I think that's such a positive thing that we've been able to manifest over the last couple of years.
I completely agree with you. And I want to ask this question for those coaches that aren't like you. And the reason I say that is you're charismatic. Your passion comes right through. Like I watched it in the videos, and sometimes when you watch those videos, those documentaries, you're kind of like, I don't know, is that really him? Is that or anybody? Is that real? Right. And man, you've sold me so far on this really being who you are and the joy that you have for what you're doing. Yeah. Gannon Baker said you can't coach something that you don't possess. If somebody doesn't feel like you or doesn't maybe have that presence, how do they cultivate that? How do they grow that? Like get to the point where they're maybe so uncomfortable that they get comfortable, like Steve Nash said. What are your thoughts? Because to me, I'm not saying it's easy for you to create the environment that you've done, but it seems like you possess that ability.
I think it's, and I really take that as a really good compliment. I do, because so many people see my passion as a negative connotation, or they see it as something that they just wouldn't do. But my passion is my love. My passion is my drive. My passion is my why. So to this question, I think, coaches can just identify, your why, but how much are you identifying with that why on a day-to-day basis? You know that you are here to serve these scholar athletes on a day-to-day basis, but are you meeting your why? And I know when I wake up every day, I'm prepared, I'm punctual, I'm present. And within that presence, that passion is going to continue to come out, because I love my why. And if I don't identify with loving my why, I'm discrediting these young men that I am serving. I'm discrediting my coaches that I am coinciding with to lead with. But within this passion, it's something that is a deliverable that God has given me and God has placed me with. But it's a tool of mine that I've always been. I've used it when I was a player. I've used it in fatherhood. I've used it as a husband. I've used it in various opportunities within my life to continue to revolve the why. I know the why, but if the why is still the same it was a month ago, it's not revolving. And when I'm not revolving, the kids aren't revolving. So the passion is all a deliverable to extracting the best of my why. And I think many coaches can just, be a strong suit in mastering that why every day.
I think that's pretty powerful. I think that cuts through to a point where it'll be convicting. Like I know it's convicting for me. One of the biggest things I had to do years ago at coming to faith was really redefine my why, because I think early on you have a good season as a younger coach and you start to do the math of, if I have 20 win seasons and I do this for 40 years, man, I may have like 8, you start to do these things where that type of goal or why can easily take over. But then you have to get back to really what we're doing here. And I always love the idea of the why. Phil Beckner said that you can't teach feel. And I think it's kind of the same thing as what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So if you can't teach feel, well, then how do you get feel? Feel for when to call a timeout, feel for when to sub, feel for when to make a a change, trial and error. You learn. You fail sometimes. You lose some games. You have some moments where you're like, I can't believe I just did that. And then you apologize to your team. And my last point is, I think you can get your style, because nobody needs to be exactly like you. Nobody has to be like me. I'm not like others. But you find confidence in your style through trial and error and over time.
Yeah. And to that point, we have 4 losses in 2 years, and I've learned so much more in those 4 losses than any of the, I don't know, 70 something wins in the last 2 years. The reason I say that is because I feel like I failed the 12 kids on the 22-23 team, and then I failed the 23-24 team. So me being able to learn how to be better for player 1 to player 13, or player 1 to player 12, that is the strong suit of the why, or the passion, or the experience. Just the experience alone of where did I come short? Why didn't I listen to this? How could I be better here? Was there a moment where I should have took this rotation and went here? Those are the things that I particularly break down and master, right? Because I don't want to do that again. And that's how, that's how my brain works. But in order for me to be the very best for this program and for this community, I have to be the best learner. And if I'm not the best learner, then I'm not the best leader for this program.
Coach, well done. That's a great segue into the next question. Man, that was really good. It's like we planned that out, but I appreciate the growth mindset that you have.
Yes, sir.
From the amazing 2 seasons that you've had, last 2, what's something that you've borrowed lately that you do feel like will impact you or impact your program?
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have been a YouTube junkie from March 11th until day to day. I watch a lot of Jay Wright stuff, not because Josiah's at Villanova, but because we have Josiah is gone. So the best 4-out, 1-in continuity offense that has been around in the last 10 years, 12 years was Villanova. So watching Jay Wright's offense has been something that, we're stealing that on the day-to-day. And then I've also been watching the Jack Yates 2012 teams with their Havoc defense, just because we're so small. We have a guard built roster, and we're just going to have to fly around and having to understand that we're going to give up some things. But in that same token, if I have more possessions than you do, if I win the deflection battle, and if I understand if I gave up those 5 dunks, your highlight looks really good, but in the left column, that doesn't look good because I want to look good. In the right column, that doesn't look good, but in the left column, I look good. Jack Yates, Jay Wright, I've been looking at a lot of their stuff and just trying to identify more with, all right, I think that will work for us. Okay, let's implement it. And then we've been watching a lot of film of us. So, how the boys played over the summer. We've been watching different games. I asked the boys to start day 1, give me your best AAU game this summer, and we watch it. Okay, how was he great in this game, and how can we utilize that? So every day in athletics, we watch about 15 minutes of the boys, and there are 3 more. So we got 3 more days left. And then, that style of play, everyone has something different. How can we implement that and integrate that for what we're going to be doing?
Coach, that may be the nugget that I needed to hear on this. And that's what I love about getting to do this now for about 3 years, is every talk there's usually, even today, there's more than one thing, obviously, but there's one that writing that on my board
Yeah.
Actually, not just, I try to go to games, and I think
Yeah.
that's important. I think for our players to know that we are supportive of them playing select ball, and not just, hey, I'm glad you're doing it. We show up. Like, we go and we sit with the parents. Like, I found that those conversations, when I sit with those parents in a very different setting than at Faith, have been huge. Getting to learn more about the family, getting to learn more about him, and maybe better ways to reach him. And so, but I know for a fact that, and you know too, like that they care that we're there. So, but I've never thought about getting the film of their games and actually breaking it down to get to know the player better. And I just think that's so good. Two other things that you said.
Like mixing a pot. Like we're putting all the good in there.
Yeah.
And we mix this together. Hey, let's see how good Face after is done.
That's right. Really, I really think everybody needs to do what you've done this last few months since that season, is evaluate who you have coming back and then what will work best for that team. Chris Hill at Jesuit said you have to start every season like it's brand new. And it makes sense, but I think a lot of us, and I know I'm guilty of, man, what a great year. Like we won humbly 28 games last year, but we overachieved. Like it wasn't and if those guys listen to this, I think they know we weren't necessarily planning on that, and so it was a great surprise, but they were very different. We were big, and we defensively had to beat people, which that's rare for us. So, but if I take that and just try to carbon copy it over, man, we've got some scores, we've got some speed, we've got, and so I think that's the danger though of system. So I think that's really smart. And then last thing before I give it back to you is Yates, one of my favorite teams to ever watch in high school basketball, because I was at McKinney High School at the time. So me and Wes Watson, I was his varsity assistant. We'd go down and watch. Never enjoyed a game as much as the Houston Yates teams.
I mean, just think about how talented they were at the forefront, and then how fast they played, and
Coach,
how
the turnover count in the drum was going up, and that's what we're watching.
Yeah.
The other team's turnover count. We're not even like they're at 39 turnovers.
Yeah. 39 turnovers, and they have 92 points.
Yeah.
And the third quarter is not
over. Scored over 100 points all throughout playoffs.
Yeah, like I mean that's remarkable. Like, and I identify, we start seeing that in the spring. Like, we're going to have to be able to shoot the basketball. We're going to have to be able to play fast, and we're going to have to teach these guys that making mistakes will be okay. They're going to be okay. It's going to happen. Now, they're going to have to be scaffolded, but you're going to have to play with mistakes because we're playing so fast.
Coach, you nailed it. Anytime that you want to increase, even if, okay, let's just take skill work. If you want skill work to become more difficult, then you increase speed and you decrease vision. So those two things right there makes almost any individual skill drill harder.
Yes, sir.
Playing fast is almost the same thing. The vision is decreased because of how chaotic it is. Yes. And as you push that speed up, so you have to, in my opinion, you have to allow them, take that pressure off their back, of almost as if you're a prophet saying, guys, listen, we're about to make a ton of mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Just keep going. That enables freedom, in my opinion.
We have been preaching that since day one this year. Like, just go play and understand that when you make the mistake, it's okay. If you have a sub, you're going to go right back because that person's going to make a mistake, and it's okay. And then you're going to go right back. But understand, when you fly around for us and we put this all together, it's going to be fun, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be relentless. So make sure that you're doing those three things, because it'll work for you, not for me, but for you.
I think one of the biggest challenges anytime you try to play faster and maybe even play more people is playing time. Because everybody likes to think, we're gonna get deep in the bench, we're gonna play a lot of guys. Man, that's great, except for if there's one or two or three that remember how we've done it before, or I've seen guys not come off the floor and they think that's their turn, or and if you can almost not trick them, but like I'm a Star Wars fan. So, but Jedi mind trick them into thinking that it's not about minutes, it's about possessions. Because if we play 80, 90 possessions in a game, we're playing a quarter to a quarter and a half longer than anybody else is. But that's hard because their stakeholders, the parents, things are not going to, they're going to look at time or width of a possession of playing or whatever you call that, a time frame where like I went in at this number and I'm out at this number. They just look at that. They don't look at how many trips up and down the floor in that time. I just think that's one of the challenges, but I personally love playing that way.
Yeah, no, and to my parents, you know, at our parent meeting, I'm going to communicate like, you want your baby to play. I want your baby to play. But in the same token, I want your baby to maximize his opportunity. So when he maximizes his opportunity in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, mama, daddy, they played all 4 quarters. They played all 4 quarters. And at the end of the day, Tigers won. So let's be goal-oriented on the habits in which we communicated. This is how this team will be structured. Yes.
And I think it's so smart to have the parent meeting where you articulate a little bit of that vision and almost you let them into it. Like you're bringing them in, not just, hey, I've got this. Don't worry. You cheer. Like help them to understand a little bit. And then I think another one of it's a fun challenge, but I bet this comes up sometimes when they try to do math. So I'm averaging 16 right now, but I'm only playing 18 minutes. If I could play 28 minutes, I would average 30. But then it doesn't work like that. It's possessions. If we slow the game down so you can play more, you're not just going to score double what you're doing right now. But so it's all, when we used to really run and gun, which offensively we still do, defensively we haven't been pressuring the same for years. But it was explaining that to people, and some get it, some don't, but I think you give them a shot. Coach, I think this question is unique to you because you're going through it right now, and hopefully every coach throughout their career gets to have one or two just phenomenal players, like next level guys that just, man, like they make us look good, you know, and I'm not discounting the rest of your team from the last couple years, but you mentioned your guy that's at Villanova now. He's there now.
Yeah, he's a freshman there now.
Yeah. So my question is what is life like within your program after you not just have a great run, but you also graduate a great player?
Yeah.
How's that been for your program?
I think it's been revitalizing because it's less of Josiah's not here. I'm like, yeah, even more. That's even better because it opens up more opportunities for everyone else. But you know, it wasn't just Josiah. We had 3 really good seniors last year, all playing college basketball right now, D2 and D1. So to have a Josiah Mosley, a Junior Goodlett, and an Allen Guyton Jr., all 3 of those guys, it's like talking about that pressure. It's taking the pressure off now, but it's also meeting the expectation, right? So like they're not here, but the expectation does not change. So for us, with the program expectations, the next man up mentality is still here. Who's to say that we don't have another Josiah Mosley walking in this gym right now? But what are your habits? Who's to say that we don't have another Junior Goodlett? But what is your mindset? Who's to say that we don't have another Allen Guyton? But where's that grit? Where's that dog? So those are the things that we still want to adhere to. Those are the things that I'm still expecting someone within this program. Okay, fill the shoes. They say that we don't have it anymore. Fill the shoes. And I love everything that every senior has been able to give to us. But my expectation and my belief is we got another guy that can come in and do it right now. It's just you got to be able to identify, do you really want to do it?
And that's what I thought you'd say. But it was really I think that's the difference between a program that has a couple great years because of a good group. A group that's just so far above.
Yeah.
It's like at the Colony, my senior year, we were good, but then Darren Williams and Bracy Wright were sophomores, and after I graduated, they had 2 more years, But then it was there's a gap. There's a gap after them to when Coach Cleve Ryan took over, and then he built things again. And
Right.
so sometimes those players that are just, like I said, you have a couple of those within your career if you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
But I think after that, the key is to keep the standards high.
Yeah.
To not droop. It's like if you press and you're pressing all these teams, but then you play a team now, you're like, guys, I don't think we're going to press them. I think that takes the confidence away of your pressing team. You're kind of all in with that. You can adjust little things, sure, but hey, I don't care who we play. We're going to press them.
That's who we are.
I think you got to do that after life after great players.
Yep. And that's been our mindset. Like we have the next all-state basketball player in here. We have the next Gatorade player of the year. Regardless, this is the confidence, the energy, the unity, the teamwork, the parts of culture that we are still translating every day. Like it's here. It's here. You guys got to want it. And I believe that you do. So we just got to continue to put that out into the atmosphere every day for these young men.
Love getting to ask about balancing family and coaching. There are some that say you can't even try to do it, bring it together. There's others that struggle with it. How do you balance it? How have you balanced it over the years?
I mean, it's a real simple question for me. It's my wife. Like the sacrifice that she makes and the selfishness that comes with this job and comes with the many intangibles that the outsiders will never see. It's having someone at home that is willing to understand the cognitive, the physical, the everything that this job aligns to. The ability that Summer has to balance her work life, the kids, my life, while still being a great mother and to herself. I don't think that I could do that. Like I can do a lot of things, but do that, that I couldn't ask for a better partner to support me in achieving a goal that I've always I've always communicated with her, but to see this manifest for all of our family. I mean, that's it. That's it. And then, secondary to that, I think just finding time for your family, saying you can step away, trust your leadership amongst your coaches, and trust your program values to be able to say that you need the family time. The one thing that I believe in is getting your work done while you're here, because you need that time when you leave this place. When you leave this place, don't take the negative, the positive, the everything in lieu of it. Don't take that to your home. If you need to work, do the work, but be with your family. I tell my coaches all the time, get your work done here. Get your work done early. If you get your work done early, your family loves you even more, because don't take that time away from them. I got kids growing up, young ones right now that they're involved in sports, and Daddy, I'm not taking away Daddy when they need to see me present for them in their journey. So if I don't give my all while I'm here between these walls on this campus, I got to let it go and start over tomorrow or until they go to sleep. And I want to make another sacrifice with my habits. Those are the things that I have to do.
Great reminders. The two things I was going to add, you definitely nailed one of them. I have written down on my board, have no dead lag time. But throughout my day, I want to get so much done.
Yes, sir.
If we're competitors, I want to get more done at this school than anybody else does throughout the day. More done. And maybe there's others that do, but that's the feeling. I don't, you got to be careful with this. You got to be careful with those time wasters, and not to be antisocial or anything, but maybe there's times just you got to get away, and you got to get on your computer. You got to get in your room, You got to find a place, maybe in the gym. Our old girls coach from last year, we nicknamed him the Ghost. He's my best friend. We nicknamed him the Ghost because he would never be in his office. Nobody would know where he was. He's usually in the gym sitting somewhere getting things done. Yeah. And then the second thing is your spouse. My wife gave me a great advice. Not really advice, maybe a directive. Years ago, when I first got to Faith, I thought, okay, I'm a head coach now. And I just warned her, I said, Jana, I'm going to be putting in a lot of time with this because I'm a head coach. It's that important. And this was our second marriage for both of us. And her dad was a 35-year football coach. So she's seen working hard and putting in time because those dudes do that. Yeah. And she said, Matt, I understand. I just don't want to be second. Yeah. And like that, man, that cut through. And maybe at the time I was like I kind of want, I want basketball to be first, but what a great reminder, not to let your family be second and then my last point, David Peeler at Highland Park has a sign up above the door when he drives into his garage. There's a sign and it says, don't fail at the job that only you can do. And that's at home. Yes. Man, anybody, no offense, but anybody can do what we're doing, right? Yeah. People are qualified to step in, but nobody can do what you do at your house. Yes, sir. So good reminders there.
Absolutely.
Coach, the speed round. These are quick questions. First thing that pops in your head, blurt it out.
Let's do it.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream.
Greatest sugar of all time?
Oof, Steph.
See, I start with ice cream, and then I hit you with a heart.
That's so hard. There are like 4 people that popped into my head.
Yeah.
I mean,
favorite superhero?
Batman.
Nice. Top 3 dinner guests that you like to have any time period?
Yes. Jesus, Jay-Z, Malcolm X.
This is Jay-Z. That's awesome.
Yep.
Best basketball movie of all time?
Can I give you 2?
Yes.
Coach Carter and Glory Road.
Nice. I like Glory Road too. The story is incredible. I did not enjoy the off the backboard lob passes.
Yeah.
Based in what, 19 or 60s? Yeah. Maybe they did. I haven't seen the actual footage. But anyway, that's Hollywood. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Okay. You and I are both in Texas for high school shot clock or no shot clock?
Shot clock.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
You're up 3 on defense with 5 seconds left. Do you foul or no foul? It would force them to shoot free throws.
Foul.
Yeah. What book would you give someone?
Of Mice and Men.
Wow. I got to ask, I love that book and actually was in the play in high school. My senior year, wow. I had to do theater. I had to do theater 1 because I needed that elective. And I was with the freshmen and then wound up liking it and got into a couple plays. I think that was really good for me because I thought as coaches and in basketball, we work hard. Those theater people, they're up there all night.
They're relentless.
Yeah. So, but sorry, tell me why of Mice and Men?
Just the storyline of Lenny and, the leadership, the journey, the migrant pieces of everything, the work ethic that they manifested. And I think it's life. Everything is not always cupcakes and sprinkles. And in that adversity, who do we become? Yep.
Man, that's good. 2 more. Favorite place to travel?
Vegas.
Nice. And then last one, probably the most important in basketball. Who is the GOAT?
Jordan. I love LeBron James. I love him. But I tell the kids this all the time. Until your mom during Christmas starts buying you LeBrons and stop buying Jordans, then we can have that conversation.
Sure.
In reality, I mean, he's 6-0 in the finals. He's XYZ defensive player of the year, defensive teams, just ultimately as a competitor. That's
the biggest separator. Yeah.
He's just he was such an extreme competitor.
Turn it off either. There's this great article that I read to my players once a year, and it's old now, but it says, "Do you still want to be like Mike?" And it's him and he's being interviewed saying, "I can't turn it off. So this competition, I have to do it in every area of my life, and I'm miserable."
Mind that?
Yeah, I'll find it. Yep. I'll find it. I think I have the sheet of paper, but I want to find the actual thing. Yes.
Got it.
Super good. And what a great reminder that for us too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Coach, this has been so much fun, man.
Yeah.
Just getting to talk with you, get to learn more about your story, but then also the way that you run your program. And no surprise, the success you've had, just how you guys do things, and wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for giving up your time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate you, and best wishes to you all at Faith this year. Let me know if you need anything, Coach. I might take a trip up there just to get away from these guys. Come watch athletic period up there, man. I'm all for it.
I would be honored. You would see, here's what you'd see. You'd see 30 kids that there are some good players, but they love the Lord, are really smart, and hopefully basketball is third or fourth on that list. But those
other two are superior.
That's right.
I don't care about that.
Yeah. But no, I would love to have you. Coach, this was great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Have a good one.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.